What is something you don't have the heart to tell to your family? I have cancer, probably the same kind that killed my mother's parents and is killing her brother. Not curable, but won't start to show for a while, and I want to enjoy what time I have left. Thing is, and here's a bonus relevant to the initial question, I wanted to enjoy most of it without them. Edit. Holy mother of Garfield, those are some emotional replies. I want you to know that, even if I didn't reply, I read all of them. You are all loved, I'm sorry for your struggles, and appreciate you sharing them. To people asking what kind of cancer, it's colon cancer and another kind that has a complicated name that I can't remember. Didn't really put into the effort, because it's not the dangerous one. I can't remember all of the specifics, and I'm not in a situation where I can easily access my records, but there are several small tumors scattered around my gut. I can't feel it, there's no real pain, but if it behaves like my family members' cancers, it'll steadily spread until it becomes a problem. I can get treatment, but there's no cure. As for a timeline, it's hard to get a solid one, but the doctor I was seeing in America said that based off of my family history, anywhere from 10 to 15 years before symptoms begin to worsen, but he was careful to mention that there was no way to be sure. As a result, I think I'll delay treatment until I'm tired of having fun around the world. To answer the third popular question, that's what I plan on doing with my life. I'll probably spend the next 5 years traveling the world and working in different countries. Then once I'm burnt out, move back home and start a business. I've always been enamored with social entrepreneurship, so I intend to follow a little dream of mine. Thanks for the awards, everyone. I hope you all have a happy new year. I appreciate you all. One more thing. To the handful of people doubting me, there's not much I can do, or would even be willing to do, if I were able to prove this stuff to you. I appreciate your skepticism as much as the next guy, but I just can't help you. My oldest brother planned his suicide for 3 years, and took many steps during those 3 years to cause harm to coworkers, his wife and our mother. As a teacher, he took steps to frighten and troll his 7th and 8th grade students before his planned suicide by predicting his death. I learned all of this accidentally about 8 years after his suicide. His wife would be devastated if she ever found out what and why he did what he did. She's moved on with her life and we are still very close. Both of my parents have since passed, but I never told them, because the things that my brother did were so cruel and intentionally mean that it would have caused them real pain to hear about it. They went to their graves believing that my brother was simply depressed and lashed out at others because of alcoholism and mental health issues. My brother basically took those 3 years before his death to get revenge on the people he believed were against him. Coworkers were targeted and pranked. Friends and family were on the receiving end of tirades and emotional attacks. He would tell his students that he knew when he was going to die, and framed this as a kind of spiritual supernatural prediction, except he actually didn't know when he was going to die. So when it happened, all of his vague predictions came true. He would tell his students that he was going to die on a Friday. He claimed that he was going to die with a 3 in the year. He claimed that he was going to die with a day that had a 1 in it. When he died the 31st of October 2003, a Friday, his kids were not only devastated, but also scared. Even in his death he managed to hurt his students. That I would never admit to them my financial struggles, because they won't help me anyway. They've paid my sister and her husband's rent before, my brother's bills, the new electronics for all 3 of my siblings. I was living at home taking a break from school, paying off $5,500 in loans so I could qualify for more for my next semester, and I was about to get engaged. My parents were letting me use one of their cars in the afternoons. I filled the tank, and they took the car on a road trip and brought it back nearly empty. I had another week before my next paycheck and asked for $15 for gas. They said no. My laptop broke at the start of a semester. Didn't ask, they didn't offer. Phone fell out of my purse and the purple ooze of doom showed up. Didn't ask, they didn't offer. My in-laws let me borrow their old car for a month before we moved states. My parents said they would lake me off their insurance and make me pay for that 1 month. My dad almost took me off GI Bill benefits for doing a church service mission, which would deny me 2 semesters entirely paid, including rent money. Luckily he didn't. But when I used it the semester I got married, they kept the housing allowance and didn't even tell me I was getting it until the semester was over and I was already living with my husband. My parents are amazing people and I love them to death. And I'm so lucky, but there is a big discrepancy between how they treat me, their most successful child, and how they baby my 3 siblings, 2 of which are older by a few years. My brother ate me regularly when I was between 7 and 16. He was 18 years older than me and always lived in the same house when he wasn't in jail or on the street because he was an addict. He died of an overdose after one night when I was 16. He had raped me again probably 2 hours before my mom found him dead. It was probably the best thing that ever happened in my life. I felt trapped and was completely hopeless until he died, and I hate him for being such a piece of shit. My family talks about how he was before being an addict, but the only man I remember is the one who got off on hurting and humiliating me and telling me I was worthless. It makes me sick when they speak of him like he was a saint who lost his way. I tried to speak up at some point early on, but my mom and dad could never believe their firstborn was a monster. I wish everyone just bought one sentimental and well thought out gift for each other and save our time and money for things that matter, like helping each other with doctor bills from extreme health problems or other enormous bankrupting disasters, or large donations for the poor, or sending money to places that were crushed by hurricanes, or donation to our local community, or even saving money for ourselves when that's not needed and improving our families lives. Instead we spend thousands on bullshit and stress ourselves out, turning what should be an honest and exciting time for friends and family into some materialistic contest where everyone is anxious that they didn't buy enough or spend enough, edit, or even just buying something else throughout the year when we see something someone would like. My grandma's bedroom smells terribly of urine. She has a commode in there, and I don't know whether urine is getting on the floor or she's not cleaning it or what, but the smell shocks me when I come visit. She has some bladder and incontinence problems, but she appears entirely mentally sound. I can't bring myself to say anything about it. She would be really embarrassed. I don't know what to do about this. Edit. Thank you to everyone who has replied. I'm overwhelmed by all the kind and helpful comments you've left. Well, mine is less impactful than what's already on here, but they're all terrible cooks. Like, don't even understand fundamental cooking techniques. I'm no chef, but their food is borderline inedible, and it's a miracle they haven't given each other food poisoning multiple times. Problem is they love cooking and are proud of their repulsive standard dishes. I could never tell them the truth and I don't want to ruin our family memories. So I roll with it, have a small helping of everything, and just hit a drive-thru on the way home whenever I eat with them. Just some things I need to get off my chest. I'm scared of driving. I'm 21 and don't have my driver's license. I'm sick of my mom crying every time she calls me saying that she is always put last. She isn't put last. She doesn't stand up for herself. I don't want to buy gifts for my sister that I barely consider a sister. She is a year younger and all she does is scream at my mom and call me names instead of talking. She thinks she is better than me because I don't have my driver's license and I don't have life experience. And last, to my friend Hope, not a part of the question, but I need to say this here or I won't say it at all. Your boyfriend is toxic, controlling, and you don't deserve to be treated like that. I didn't tell you, but I was extremely upset that you let your boyfriend control who you add on all of your social media. I'm going to miss you when my job is over. This felt so good to get out. Happy holidays, everyone. My brother passed away last year on my birthday. When he died, for the first time since I was a child, everyone in my family wanted to talk to me. They all called me, and at the end of every call, they said, "Oh, and happy birthday." I was forced to celebrate my birthday this year anyways, but they all focused on him. I can't escape it. I don't want my birthday anymore, not because I'm selfish, but because I miss him. My family wants me to be happy that day, but they want me to remember him too. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. He was my absolute best friend. It just kills me to think about the fact that he's not here anymore. I wish my family would respect my wishes and just leave me alone on my birthday. That the way they raised me was abuse and it seriously damaged me as a person. My parents think they were great parents, especially my mom, who was the more abusive one. And it's not even that I don't have the heart to tell them, because I don't want to burst their bubble. I don't have the heart to tell them, because I don't have the heart to sit through an hours long lecture / beratement on why I'm wrong, and how what they did doesn't count as abuse and I have no right to be upset. I just keep not answering or returning their phone calls and texts, but they keep obliviously trying to reach out to me thinking that I'm the asshole here, and they have a right to speak to and see their daughter regardless of my feelings.